A group of young people are stranded on the beach and have to survive the mysterious sand that devours everyone who touches the ground. Today, we're going to recap the story of the movie, The Sand from 2015. In a coastal area far from the city of Las Vegas, a large group of young people decide to have a beach party where they have fun with various challenges, music and drinks to make things even more interesting. Mitch, one of the members of the gang, orders all the young people to put their cell phones away, saying that they will only get them back when the party is over, while the young people party wildly. Vance and Gilbert are tasked with finding wood for the fire, but when they return, they reveal that they have found a giant, bizarre object that has a disturbing appearance. Even though they're afraid of what they have just encountered, the teenagers don't care and continue with their activities as normal. In the morning, the festivities were over, and some of the young people stayed on. After a long night of partying, Kaylee and Mitch wake up in the lifeboat and decide to go home. But just as they're about to climb down from the tower, the girl notices that a small bird is stuck in the ground, and after a few seconds, the animal is completely devoured by the sand. In a vehicle next to the cabin, the rest of the group wakes up, and Chanda notices that her friend Marcia is still unconscious asleep on one of the wooden tables. So that they can all leave together, the young woman calls for her friend, who wakes up feeling nauseous after drinking too much the night before. When she realizes that the girl is about to hit the floor, Kaylee tries to warn Marcia that something is wrong with the sand, but she doesn't listen and gets off the table. As soon as she hit the ground, Marcia's feet were suddenly trapped, as if something had captured her. Confused by what is happening, she tries to use her hands to free herself, but this only makes matters worse, causing her to scream in despair. As she is slowly swallowed, concerned Vance decides to get out of the vehicle to rescue his friend, but as soon as he tries to run to her, he ends up being knocked down and instantly stuck in the sand. Panicked by all the chaos, the young people try to find a way to rescue Vance, who is screaming for help more and more. Mitch quickly throws a life raft towards the young man and asks him to grab it so they can pull him into the cabin. However, the young man can no longer move, and soon afterwards his face is melted by the sand, which, after finishing him off, takes his body down to earth along with Marcia. Terrified by the sudden elimination, the young people try to understand what might be underneath and how they can escape. In a panic, Ronnie says that the beach may have been affected by chemical substances used by the government in bizarre experiments. Jonah believes that this is impossible and theorizes that it could be some kind of quicksand, which is capable of dissolving human skin, and that they could free the young man if they manage to dig him out. Chanda suggests that the group try to contact the police so that they can ask for a ransom. Upon hearing this, Gilbert says that the cell phones may still be working and asks where they are. The problem is that thanks to Mitch, all the cell phones are still in the trunk of the car, which had its battery burned out after being parked with the headlights on all night. In order to get more information, Kaylee goes to the edge of the staircase, and as she brings her hand close to the ground, she notices countless tentacles in the sand, which try to pull in any living thing that comes close. At that moment, Gilbert wakes up and realizes that he has been placed inside a metal barrel with a very unpleasant drawing on his face. He becomes furious and orders the young men to remove him from the object, while he tries to wiggle his way out. Wanting to prevent the young man from being swallowed up by the beach, the rest of the group warns him about the situation. And after finding out about the elimination of his two friends, Gilbert despairs and struggles even more. Trying to calm him down, Mitch tells him that the tide will rise in the next few hours, allowing the young man to leave the site safely. So all he has to do is pull himself together and wait. After calming the situation, Kaylee questions Mitch, saying that the tide won't rise enough for Gilbert to be saved. And the young man says that he only said that to make his friend believe that he will survive. Several hours go by, and the young people are still stuck on the beach. As they are burned more and more by the sun, since they have no way of escaping in the lifeboat. Kaylee investigates the compartments and finds a box of matches, which she decides to save for an emergency. The girl also gets some sunscreen and quickly gives it to her friends who are trapped in the vehicle so that they can protect themselves from sunburn. Analyzing the events, the teenagers get together to recap the night before. And Kaylee says that everyone who attended the party camped out on the beach at this point. The group realizes that all the other members have already been wiped out by the sand, leaving only their belongings behind. While Jonah delivers sunscreen to Gilbert, who is being frequently sunburned, Kaylee observes the beach and notices that the giant object brought by Vance and Gilbert the night before is destroyed. Looking at the wreckage, the young people realize that it could be an alien egg, which hatched when everyone was asleep. When he hears this, Gilbert becomes desperate and goes back to swinging on the barrel. But Kaylee calms him down and tells him that this creature is probably not yet in its adult form, so they still have a chance of surviving, so that they can find out the maximum distance at which the monster can attack. The girl takes a packet of sausages and throws one of them far away. As soon as it touches the ground, the food is quickly devoured by the sand. And Kaylee says that they can repeat this same process until they find the limit that the creature can reach. Mitch tries to throw another sausage away, but a seagull ends up catching the food and makes its meal right in front of Gilbert, who is outraged that he didn't get any food. Before throwing the last sausage, Kaylee asks her friend to try throwing it in another direction, and in doing so they finally find the point where the tentacles can't reach. Everyone is relieved by the new discovery, but Chanda tells them that it won't make any difference, as the place is too far away, and they have no safe way of getting around. Furious that they have no way of escaping, Jonah has an idea, and takes the surfboards from the vehicle so that he can walk safely along the beach. Gradually, he manages to get closer to the wooden table. But as soon as he puts his feet on the benches, one of the boards starts to slide along the ground, causing the young man to lose his balance and become suspended over the sand. At that moment, everyone goes into despair. As they watch, the creature's tentacles slowly reach Jonah's body, who screams in pain to save himself. The young man jumps with all his might, managing to grab onto the table. However, he realizes that serious wounds have been inflicted on his stomach, causing him to lie down in agony. The young people quickly try to calm the young man down, who manages to get up after a few minutes. Jonah investigates